Now this area here had existing spray texture on it, and all the skimming material came off of it when I removed the wallpaper. So now I've got to put some skim coat material on here, and I'm going to put 2 coats. And because it's such a small area, I'm just going to use my 6-inch knife. I've mixed up some all-purpose joint compound, and basically I just took it right out of the box, and I'm just going to put a thin layer over this, trying to be careful not to get it all over the place. If I get some on the cabinet or something, I can leave it and wipe it off later. Okay, I'm just trying to get it up here next to the ceiling first. Hey, I got the video on. How you doing?
Did he here?
No.
What is that?
Okay, so I'm just going to keep putting this mud on here.
Yes.
And I want to try to keep it on fairly thin, but I've got to coat the coat over
everything.
the spray texture on here, okay?
Oh.
So after I get some on, I'm going to lightly wipe it back off. And if you've been watching my sheetrock videos on how to install stuff, you probably already know how to do this.
I do.
I don't want to take off too much, but I don't want to leave it on too thick either. This has got to dry enough to where I can put the next coat on before I leave, but I don't want the mud, the spray texture, to show behind it, okay? If I get a few lines on it, that's okay. I can lightly wipe those off when this dries, okay?
Yeah.
Now I could use a wider blade. I got a 12-inch. I generally don't use that for just small little areas like this. So I've got to make a decision as to how much I'm going to put on and how much I'm going to take off.
Oh.
You're not going to get it perfect on the first coat, but you're going to get it enough to where the next time you put on the second coat of this, it's going to cover really good. I can't, if I try to just put one coat on here, that's what they tried to do before, and they did that because it was wallpaper. This time they're going to put spray texture on here, and I'm going to get a friend of mine to do that. You're going to learn how to use a little spray gun and stuff. This area is just a hair too big for me to do it out of a spray can, like for patches. That's usually what I do. This is the entire kitchen area, so he's going to come and help with that. I'm going to enjoy watching him do that too. So will you, by the way. Okay. Again, I still have my light. I like to use my light, my construction light, when I do this. That way I can see all the little nooks and crannies. Okay, when you get it to a certain point, you're not going to be able to get it any better. And you'll quickly realize that, and you'll think, oh man, I got lines on it and everything. But don't worry about that. Get it as smooth as you can. And on the next coat, you know you're going to get it covered. Okay, so I always carry a smaller knife with me, whenever I need it. I've got it right here, little 3-inch. And if I needed something even smaller than that, I could use an 1.5 inch standard putty knife, or I could get one of those putty knives at the store, those plastic ones, and cut that with some tin snips if I needed to fill it in certain areas, okay? Now this is just the regular all-purpose joint compound I'm using for this. And I get a lot of questions as to, hey Joe, how much water did you put in there? Well, I opened up the container and it looked actually pretty good. So I didn't add any water in it. It came directly out of the box. And sometimes you can do it that way depending on what you're using it for. Lots of times people like to put just a little bit of water in it. Now for something small, you just have to kind of decide for yourself. Do you need to put water in it or not? You'll be able to get the idea of how much you need after you start working with this material after a while. And you know, this is something good you can practice on before you start doing a major sheetrock job. Do a patch first. See if you even like doing this type of work. Obviously the first couple times you do it, you're not going to be as good as the third or fourth time you do it. You know, the first time I did it, I was like, I don't know. It's one thing about trying to get it smooth. It's another of knowing if you have how many coats you have to put on, so when it gets all done, you're not going to see your patch. That's the part that I was concerned about. You know, but once you start doing some patches, you'll start figuring it out. You keep watching my videos too. I won't stray you wrong. Okay. Now this refrigerator, this is an old style refrigerator, and it doesn't have any wheels on it, and so I'm just going down as far as I can, and I don't know what they're going to do with that. They may have to get some special pad thing. You take that pad, you put it underneath it, and you blow it up with air, because they don't want to rub it and pull it out on their nice new linoleum floor. Okay, so she told me just to go down to it for now. And they'll have to decide. I'm letting them decide what to do with that. Now see, that didn't take very long, did it? I mean, that's the first coat, and it's going to be dry enough before the end of the day for me to put on the tight skim coat. And while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to do above this window, up in there, I'm going to do around the window before getting into my main skim project. Okay, work in sequence and you'll get it done. If I get this fixed for you, will you be happy then?
I would be so happy, VideoJoe. Thank you.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.